There is a version of me that existed before I knew the truth. He trusted easily. He believed loyalty was automatic. He thought love, once chosen, stayed chosen. That version of me didn't vanish overnight. He faded the moment I realized my marriage wasn't what I thought it was. Before everything broke, my life felt steady in a way I mistook for security. Mornings followed routines we built together. Coffee, quiet conversations, shared habits that felt permanent. I believed stability meant success. I didn't know how much of my identity depended on believing in us. There were mornings when I would watch her in the kitchen, hair still damp from the shower, humming softly while pouring cereal for the kids, and feel a deep satisfaction in the simplicity of it. I thought love was found in these small, unremarkable moments. I thought it would last forever, because I wanted it to. The changes didn't arrive loudly. They came quietly. She laughed less, touched me less, started guarding her time like it was something fragile. I noticed, but I explained it away. Stress, fatigue, phases. I told myself mature love didn't need constant reassurance. I remember sitting at the breakfast table one morning, spoon paused midair, watching her scroll through her phone. There was a distance in her eyes I couldn't place. I wanted to confront it but dismissed it, telling myself it was nothing, that I was imagining cracks where there were none. There were moments that didn't fit. Her phone always face down, stories that shifted slightly each time she told them. Irritation where there used to be patience. Each time doubt surfaced, I buried it. I didn't want to be suspicious. I wanted to be loyal. And so I made excuses, weaving a narrative in my head where everything remained intact, even as it quietly unraveled. The truth didn't explode into my life. It leaked in. One conversation, one contradiction, one pause that lasted too long. I watched her decide whether to lie again or stop. In that silence, I knew. I felt it in the pit of my stomach before her lips moved, in the weight of her eyes meeting mine too briefly. She admitted it quietly, called it a mistake, said it meant nothing, said it was over. Her tears came faster than her explanations. What hurt most wasn't the affair. It was realizing how easily she rewrote reality to protect herself. The room felt suddenly smaller, the walls pressing in with the evidence of my own naivety. I could hear my own heartbeat in the silence that followed, loud and accusing. I wondered if I had ever really known her, or if I had only ever known the version of her she wanted me to see. After that, time lost shape. Days blurred. Nights stretched endlessly. I replayed memories until they felt foreign. I questioned my judgment, my worth, my masculinity. I wasn't angry all the time. I was empty. And that scared me. I walked through our home like a ghost, touching objects as if they might anchor me to a past that no longer existed. The scent of her shampoo in the shower, once comforting, now made my stomach twist. The sound of her laughter in old videos made me flinch. I wondered if I had ever been truly happy, or if it had always been a carefully constructed illusion. We talked carefully. She wanted forgiveness. I wanted certainty. But trust doesn't rebuild on intention alone. It needs truth, consistency, accountability. I realized I was shrinking, negotiating my boundaries just to avoid losing her. I stayed silent for hours, letting her words wash over me without replying, listening for some trace of honesty, some admission that wasn't coerced from a sense of guilt. I felt like I was peeling layers of myself away, exposing raw nerves that had been protected for years, only to see them ignored. That was my lowest point. Not the betrayal itself, but watching myself disappear, trying to survive it. I felt like a man in a photograph slowly fading, the colors draining from my life. I questioned every decision I had made, every compromise, every quiet surrender, wondering how much of me had been lost in the name of love. Change didn't arrive as motivation. It arrived as exhaustion. Therapy forced honesty. Physical exhaustion quieted my mind. Writing exposed patterns I ignored. I stopped asking why she cheated and started asking why I ignored myself. I began to document my feelings, every small pang of doubt, every whisper of anger, every flicker of hope I still clung to. Seeing the patterns on paper made me realize how deeply I had let her control my emotional landscape, how much of my own voice I had muted. I learned that love without respect erodes you quietly. That loyalty to someone else should never require disloyalty to yourself. That forgiveness doesn't mean staying. I remember a night when I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the full weight of our shared years. I realized I had given too much of myself away, and that to recover, I had to reclaim it. Not with drama, not with confrontation, but quietly, firmly, decisively. The decision wasn't dramatic. It was calm and final. I chose distance. I chose clarity. Leaving hurt more than staying, but it hurt in the right direction. The first morning after I moved out, I walked the city streets before dawn, watching the sky lighten and feeling a strange liberation in the emptiness. I didn't know if I would be happy again, but I knew I would be whole. I don't think betrayal makes you stronger by default. I think it gives you a choice: collapse or rebuild with honesty. I'm not healed, but I'm grounded. I trust myself again. That matters more than anything I lost. I have discovered that the version of me that existed before the truth is not gone. It has been refined. He is cautious but aware, wary but resilient, hurt but no longer defined by the pain inflicted by another. I have moments of doubt, of course, nights when I feel the old ache of absence, of loss, of a life that might have been. But those moments are fleeting now. They do not dictate my choices. They are reminders that I survived, that I can survive, that I can rebuild from the pieces I thought were broken beyond repair. I look back at my old self with empathy now. I see his trust, his hope, his willingness to believe in love's permanence. I would tell him what I know now, that love without honesty is fragile, that silence is a breeding ground for deception, that your own integrity is the foundation on which everything else must rest. And I would tell him, too, that surviving the collapse is not just about endurance, it's about awakening, about stepping into a version of life where your worth is not contingent on another's choices. And so, I live cautiously but fully. I savor the moments of joy without fear of betrayal. I pursue connection without sacrificing truth. I build boundaries that protect me without isolating me. I have learned that the self you almost lose can be found again, stronger, wiser, and unshakably yours. I will carry the memory of what I lost, but it will not define me. I have reclaimed my life, and in doing so, I have found something more precious than love betrayed: trust in myself.